We're going to answer to the citizens of the state of Oklahoma.
You've got to find that mental strength. You've got to push through it. Because I'm going to let them know the mistakes we've already corrected. It's about to get a whole lot worse. We've told you since day one it's going to get harder and harder. It's about to happen this week more. Today's Tuesday, fellas. You're here till Friday.
Green Week is named after Trooper Nikki Green, which we lost in the line of duty after a fight with a suspect. So it was a grueling fight, long fight, took a lot of endurance. He literally fought for his life until he couldn't anymore. It's a week long of sleep deprivation, no hot meals, and just understanding like the reason behind of what they're going through is actually bigger than them as a person. It's about them as a group, and it's about the past troopers and some that ultimately gave the ultimate sacrifice.
He fought with a guy for over 7 minutes and ended up taking his gun and taking his life. So that's this week's. That week was pretty much to commemorate that week, to commemorate Trooper Green. And so that's really what it was about. So it was about teamwork, building, having humility, and just digging down deep when you don't have any more. So that's what I think Green was all about.
We're teaching them mobile field force training, which is crowd control and crowd dynamics for civil unrest and protests and things like that. And then when we have them ruck, they don't get a hot meal. They're woke up and expected to go on to call-outs, which sometimes the call-outs are a manhunt. In manhunts, you have to do a lot of walking, so we send them on rucks and things like that.
Trooper Nikki Green didn't know that morning of December 26th, the day after Christmas, leaving his family that morning, what was going to happen. He went out there to do what he was supposed to do on the job. Being honest, that was probably the hardest week I've ever done in my life. Sleep deprived, hardly any food, having to stretch out those meals as best you can taught you how you can be like self-sufficient at times.
Like that was, I will 100% agree that it was the hardest week of my life. This is the toughest thing I've ever faced. From being hungry, sleepy, to just that week itself was tough.
The goal is to test them in a controlled environment, but let them know that their body can do what their mind thinks that they can't, because they're allowing their mind to take over. So I think at the end of the day, it's important for them to understand in a controlled environment that, hey, I can do this. So if they get into that fight on the side of the road and their body's like, you can't do this, you're sore, this hurts, to continue the fight.
And they had us all seal up our masks before we went in. And as we went in, they took us in one by, or in a little group of, I think it was a group of 4, and you had to hold the right shoulder so you didn't lose them, the person in front of you. They had you take it off, say your name, where you're from, or they would have you do that and trick you, like, oh, what's your favorite latte? But then you had to put your mask back on, seal it back up, and clear it out, which is where you had to put your both hands over, one over the filter, one over the front of the mask, and blow it out to where it made like a little pop noise. And then you can start breathing somewhat normal air again. I've never experienced feel like you're suffocating for like 30 seconds. I would say that was probably the toughest part, but after doing that, I feel like it was like, holy crap, I just did that. I can push myself through anything, it seems like.
It definitely just affects your breathing, makes it kind of difficult to breathe, kind of hard to work the eyes. If you let it disorient you, it will, a lot. So it's just kind of, once it really hits you and it bites, you just got to chill out, take a breather, or what you can of a breath, and just kind of focus on what you need to do.
And it's hard when you're sleep deprived. You've never been through this. You don't know what to expect. And then when you wake up and you go out to Mount Scott and the sun rises, you know it's the end of this journey for that week-long training. And then it builds the camaraderie of the group to just bring everything together as a whole. And then everyone builds that bond, and they see the light, essentially, which is the sunrise. So that they know that, hey, we did it. We didn't think we were going to make it. We've made it.
Good job this week? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. Congratulations. You guys have officially made it to phase 2 of your training. Yep. You guys got some grit, and you're trainable. That's what we want to see. Going into phase 2, we're really going to ramp up the training. You guys need to be focused. You're ready to go, right? Yes, sir.
That was hands down the most emotional day. I thought it was fantastic that we went up that mountain and there was a huge thunderstorm rolling in.
And now I'm on top of Mount Scott with everybody else, you know, so it was kind of emotional for me. But yeah, I think this is probably like one of the biggest stepping stones in the academy, and then you finally overcame it.
They carry the brick all week out here. Someone's in charge of that brick, taking care of that brick, and carrying that extra weight when we lose a guy that is put on everybody's shoulder that wears this brown uniform.
The fact that we got to go to Trooper Green's memorial, that was a real honor, and to be there, you know, where that sacrifice was made was massive. A big honor to be able to be a part of that and to put our brick down. It was, yeah, that was very hard not to tear up. I mean, I don't think anybody was afraid to tear up that day.
But yeah, I'm super proud of the rest of the guys too. We all maintained our bearing and being humble and, you know, pushing through it and just doing everything together was pretty impressive, yeah. Going through that week, it really, I feel like brings it down to your bones on like whether or not you want to be here. You know, we'd lost one, so clearly, you know, Green Week did something to somebody, you know, where they didn't want to be here.
Monday, he didn't come back. I think due to the Green Week video or the Trooper Greens video, because like I said a couple days ago, this job's real. It's not like you're just putting on a costume every day and going to work. You're actually being a law enforcement officer, and stuff like that can happen to you. So
he said it was overwhelming. It got to him, especially learning about Trooper Nikki Green's death, which I can understand how, and it's not for everybody, but it was really a shock to every one of us here. We just did not expect it coming.
I think it was good that he had those thoughts and thought about it and realized that it wasn't for him. It's nobody's, you know, it's not a bad thing, but it's better to do it in a controlled environment than when it's too late. That's the sacrifice that the public expects out of us, and that's kind of what we need to be willing to do every day, you know, for someone.
That's the biggest thing that I think this week's about is mindset. Where's your mindset? When you put this uniform on, your mindset needs to be, I don't know what today brings, but whatever it brings, I'm going to be able to manage that.
I think it kind of showed me and a lot of other guys here what it takes, what the sacrifice is for the patrol, and all the hard work it takes, you know, to be a part of this team. And it was very emotional and eye-opening.
It was a huge accomplishments for us as an academy to get through Green Week like that and come together and band as one. But we got a lot more to go, a lot more ahead of us, and we continue. We cannot let up or take the foot off the pedal. We have to continue to push as one.